have to start watching now. I want y'all to watch ESPN. I want y'all to watch all the news outlets because what I said was bigger than me and Jack. What I said was bigger than me and Gilbert. And what I actually said was bigger than me and Becky with the good hair. We are all black men, and I tried to speak to these gentlemen. You know, these gentlemen just a little lost. You know, me and Gilbert been talking a little bit, so and I like I said to Gilbert, I knew what he did, but I had to forgive that brother for what he did. That's why all these years I ain't never come at Gilbert. I saw Gilbert in L.A. He can tell you. I ain't never cursed at him. I ain't never did nothing to him. Because at the end of the day, the type of things that I allege that he did, you know, real serious consequences was
What's going on, fellas? It's another Boogie production. Hey, I want to salute y'all for subscribing to my channel. And I also want to thank y'all for liking my videos. And shout out to the Dime Game Division. Let's rock and roll, man. You know, shout out to Kwame Brown. You know, Kwame Brown has been lighting YouTube up, social media in general, for the past week. And for the people that don't know who Kwame Brown is, Kwame Brown was a #1 draft pick for the Washington Wizards back in 2001. He was drafted by Michael Jordan. And he was actually the first player that was drafted #1 straight out of high school. You know, I think LeBron James was the second, but Kwame Brown was the first. And the running joke for the past 20 years in a lot of NBA circles was Kwame Brown was a bust. You know, he didn't live up to the expectations, you know, and it is true. Whenever you go #1 overall, you know, they at least expect you to be an all-star caliber player or at least a Hall of Famer at some point. So he didn't live up to that. I believe at the height of Kwame's career, he averaged 10 points and maybe 7 rebounds. I think those are the numbers, give or take. But the point is this. A lot of people have been kicking Kwame Brown for a very long time. And we never heard Kwame Brown say anything, have we? You know, he never jumped in front of a microphone. He never defended himself. You know, Kwame Brown, I guess we could say he took the high road. You know, but now, oh boy, he has been speaking out. And not only speaking out, he's been spanking these boys. You know, Kwame Brown has a different mindset. You know, he grew up very, very poor in Charleston, South Carolina. And just so happened he could play basketball, man. He was 7 foot tall, 250 pounds, and he dominated high school ball. He was the #1 recruit in high school. And, you know, that was his meal ticket, man. That was his way to getting his family out of poverty. You know, Kwame Brown grew up where he had to play basketball just to put shoes on his feet. So the fact that he went #1 in Kwame Brown's eyes, that's still a win. And I have to agree, because do you know how hard it is to make it to the NBA? I mean, seriously, man. You know, forget the #1 pick, forget straight out of high school. Just to make it to the league is almost impossible for most people. You know, Kwame Brown made $65 million in his career. He was able to get his parents out of poverty and move them onto a golf course. You know, he was able to change the trajectory of his life, create some generational wealth. So the way Kwame Brown looks at it is, look, I may not have been a Hall of Fame player, but still, I did something with my life. You know, the guy lasted 12 years in the league. A lot of people don't do that, man. 12 years. So can we actually say he was a bust if he lasted 12 years in the league? He just didn't live up to the expectations. And what happened was, Kwame Brown was so young when he got drafted. And he was on the team with Michael Jordan. You know, when Michael Jordan was with the Wizards. It was Michael Jordan, it was Richard Hamilton, it was Charles Oakley, it was Christian Laettner, you know, a couple other veterans. But basically, Kwame was the youngest guy on the team, full of veterans. Plus, he had Michael Jordan on the team. And we all know Michael Jordan, if you're not mentally strong, he's going to eat you alive. You know what I'm saying? But talking trash to a 21, 22-year-old guy out of college is different than talking to a 17-year-old kid straight out of high school. And I believe Michael Jordan stunted his growth. You know, verbally abusing him. And we already know, Charles Oakley's reputation. You know, Charles Oakley is the enforcer. You know, we seen the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix when Charles Oakley slapped Scottie Pippen in the face. You know, Charles Oakley got stories about, you know, he was pouring bottles of Hennessy on rookies and slapping them up. I mean, it's a mess with Charles Oakley. So imagine what they did to Kwame Brown's confidence. You know, a guy that young has to learn the game, and it's going to take a while, but Kwame's calling everybody out. You know, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You know, anybody that said his name in vain, he's coming for him. And rightfully so. A man can only take so much, man. You know, you can only kick a man for so long before he tell his story. And Kwame Brown is like, look, all y'all do, spend y'all money on designer clothes, jewelry, cars, to impress a bunch of women that don't like y'all. But what are y'all doing for y'all community? Kwame Brown actually has land. A lot of people don't know he's a farmer. He farms on his own land. And I think that's commendable. You know, if anything happened, Kwame Brown has his own food. You know, he can sustain himself. You know, and he's online giving guys manhood lessons. You know, and a lot of guys don't want to hear that. You know, Kwame Brown seems to me he's about to be the new YouTube star out here if he keep it up. This guy went from like 3,000 subscribers to almost 60,000 subscribers in less than a week. You know, that's almost unheard of, man. That's almost unheard of, man. But I understand that a lot of people was there for the drama. But if y'all really listen to Kwame Brown talk, the guy is brilliant, man. I think Kwame Brown is a spiritual man. You know, he's a man's man, obviously. You know, he's not scared to get his hands dirty. And he seems like he's a very reflective guy. You know, he reflects over his life a lot. So he does have a lot to say. He really reminds me of a Southern Baptist minister. You know, the way that he speaks, his tone. You know, I guess we could say a Southern Baptist minister mixed with your drunk uncle. You know, I got to put that in there. But Kwame Brown is speaking the absolute truth when he talks. And a lot of people are listening. And I believe Kwame Brown is waking a lot of people up. You know, so, hey, man, you poke the bear too long, the bear gonna get you. And that's exactly what we see, man. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we see. And a lot of guys like Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, they don't really like what he's saying, so they inviting the guy to a fight. You know, Kwame Brown is bigger than that. You know, I actually think the guy has a bigger mission at this point, listening to him talk. Everything he says is full of substance. You know, if you can get past the curse words and some of the other things that he's, you know, his presentation in which he's talking, if you can get past that and you can hear the substance in what he's saying in his overall message, I think that is good for the black community. I think it's good for black men to kind of hear this breath of fresh air, you know. But I'm going to close this video with this. You can only kick a man for so long before he fight back. You know, nobody is going to sit back and get bullied by anybody. Also, Kwame Brown, I'm proud of him because I'm pretty sure the running joke of the NBA, him being that, haunted him for the past 20 years. You know, a man deserves an opportunity to get closure. You know, I think that's very important. And it seems like Kwame actually may get the last laugh, truth be told, because he made more money in his career than Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes combined. You know, $65 million, man. That's life-changing money. That's generational money. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, I'm all in on Kwame Brown. You know, I hope he don't do too much and really mess it up, because I know sometimes people can get in front of a camera and just be overwhelmed and get caught up in the hype. But if he keep his message solid and he keeps spitting the truth, I can see Kwame Brown having his own podcast one day, man. You know, because I think it's a niche audience that will listen to him. I surely will listen to him every week. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I like the truth, no chaser. You know, I like stuff like that, so that's my cup of tea. You dig? But, hey, at the end of the day, you can only bully somebody for so long. Shout out to the Dime Game Division. Peace.